What you're noticing now, and by noticing I mean experiencing in the body, feeling it. The feeling process seems to be becoming more accentuated, exaggerated, more noticeable. Like volcano bubbling up inside you. Part of the energy of self. If the confusion comes in with the thought process, interferes with the feeling within inside you. The confusion comes when the thought process moves to you as you begin to integrate the feeling energy. In other words, you're looking for what, you're not really looking for the thought yet. You feel a thought, you have an expression, feeling inside you, then you start looking for the thought, what's causing this, and you don't understand that you're a spiritual being under the influence of your astrological energies. You have spiritual forces in each planet in your astrological chart. They're spiritual forces. Spiritual forces just move. Under the authority of the intelligence of that planet. That's another being. Each planet has an intelligence entity, you'd call it. An intelligence. That is an entity that guards and governs the spiritual force of that planet. So the intelligent force is the construct of the individual human being's proper thought. Proper thought, aligned with the particular planet. And each planet in your astrological chart is in a house. Each house represents a particular focus of energy. And the spiritual contract that was signed when that planet put its force in your astrological patterning with the intelligent and the spiritual force of that planet in that particular house was for your guardianship, mentorship, and teaching, protection for you in that authority of that house. The house in the astrological chart. The process of the forgetting is that you, humanity, the human condition, born with bone, flesh overlay, sinew, blood, fluids, the incorporation of all the intelligences of that construct, the human condition. That particular this energy force of your whole astrological chart now is being activated within all the humans on the planet. Now, the contact switch has been set. There are those that have chosen one side, those that have chosen another side, those that haven't chosen any sides, those that don't even know how to choose. Expecting someone else to do it for them. They still think they're coming out of a womb. As a baby who came out of your mother's womb, you were in a fluid condition. You breathe the air for your first experience of a consciousness different than fluid. You know? This is the same process now in the human condition. You're in the birth canal, ready to come out. And your contracts are being activated. Because before you came here, in your greatest spiritual divinity, you went and petitioned the forces of these planets, both the intelligence and the spiritual force of the planet, to assist you in a journey of becoming who you truly are and were, and for acknowledgement of others. And this is what creates the unity. Not the self, but the acknowledgement that everyone's there and you see. That is the unity. And you get into the great white light, the great light, you can't see anything. You can't even see yourself. You don't have a self. You have a consciousness of possibly aware, maybe. I have no idea of what when is, or what. You're in awareness, we'll say. Experiencing everything. So you use a funnel to concentrate your focus. And that funnel is your astrological chart. It is folded, warped in time with gravity. Gravity is the force that bends light. That's what gravity does. That's how powerful it is. Black holes and things. Yet the light that's coming is a light that doesn't bend. So you're going to be into that construct between it. And you're feeling that in the body now. The body consciousness is having an interaction with the soul consciousness. The soul consciousness in the body is here to accumulate the wisdom of the feeling of the expression of time within the construct of solidity. You would term manifestation. You're coming out into ability of your divinity where you learn how to manifest, how to do it. You don't need to be a parasite anymore, moving into another to reduce their energy so you can have some. That's the birth process, by the way. That's what the importance of the mother is, the construct. No human would have a bone unless they came from the mother. That's just the way it is. It's that simple. And then you don't have an overlay if you have no bone. Now when this begins to be understood in the divine aspect of self, this competitive behavior between the male and female entities on this planet is going to cease. You're going to see the need for the unity in the construct of the perpetuation, what is termed life in the consciousness of the grace as a walking human. Walking. Your bones are walking. You're walking your bones. Your bones are really walking you, but you haven't really figured that one out yet. In this next move in spatial time, we're going to call it spatial time, because space is the grace and time is the life. And when this begins to twist, what will happen is there'll be a winding in the cords of your body, up your spine. It'll come into the pelvis, it'll hit the hip, particularly now it'll start at the left hip first, which is the portion of the body that can handle the light that doesn't bend. The right hip will start taking the modification, we're going to call it modification, to assist the body in handling this light. Because it's going to come into the left side, particularly over the left shoulder. And it needs to merge into the center of the being. And you're going to feel like you're compressed. Now you remember your auric fields, you have the idea of your auric fields being total expression of outside you. You're inside, and your auric fields, the layers of them, are pushed out. People see and reflect. Yet that auric field is each layer of that, 7 of them, each layer is an entity of consciousness, of self, reflecting the chakras, frequencies. That auric field is trying to now merge in with the body, because it's a projection of self outward, and now it's a reclaiming of self for perfection inward. You clean, and then you send out the oil. So you're actually cleaning your auric field as you bring it back in, reprocess your data, your thoughts, forgiveness, peace, mercy, the grace of the space, so you can contemplate. And when you bring it in, you have evolved yourself, but haven't realized it yet. You're overcoming the bend of gravity. And when you move now in these fields, you need to ask permission to enter. If you're raising your vibration, and the whole consciousness around you begins to raise, as you move through territory, from one city to another, or from one sacred place to another place, before and as you enter, you ask, within the sight of yourself, permission to enter this sacred land, whatever it is. Permission to enter, and you'll feel granted, or you'll feel resistance, or you'll feel something, so to prepare yourself. Because the spiritual forces within the body now are requiring to be recognized. And they're an accumulation of the spiritual forces of the planets in your astrological chart. Once they have been recognized, within you recognizing them and them recognizing you, you call the intelligence of that planet. And the three of you, the intelligence of the particular planet, the spiritual force of that particular planet, the you that is anticipating you, and the interaction between the intelligences of the planet, the spiritual force of the planet, and the self as you, You felt it. The physical brain, not the mind, the brain will pick up a circuit when the intelligence of the particular planet is registered and accepted on sight. It'll literally hit a circuit board in the brain, probably what is termed on, we'll say, the left center of the crown chakra, the left side and the center of the wheel, at 9 o'clock position. It'll hit there, it'll register, and then the spiritual force of that planet understands it has to obey the intelligent force of that planet, and you have what you call, you may say the word, we won't use that one, we'll say the words, you have accumulated the wisdom of the self in choosing that planet in that particular house. You've conquered the density of the confusion. So you use the intelligent force of the planet, it'll communicate, it'll show a symbol to you. Each of these forces have symbols. And when they're presented, and you're being presented with some of them in this magazine already and some of the other channelings, the symbols are there. They might not be presented in the wording's the same, but the symbols will present themselves. And the symbols represent the consciousness of either the intelligence of the planet or the spiritual force of the planet attempting or sending communication to you when you see that symbol, when it's reflected in you. For those that don't see, and they have this vision capabilities that they shut down because they don't want to see, it's too frightening. Because it causes the confusion of self, and you know you did it and you can't figure out how to undo it. So without the seeing of it, to appreciate it, you're going to feel it. You're going to feel it. You're going to feel it. You're going to feel the understanding of what the heart is for. And what reincarnation is, because you're reincarnating daily. You have new blood circulating outward after old blood has come in. That old blood has been rejuvenated. It is like dead blood. So the reincarnation process has taken place within your body continuously, instantly. With the blood, the breathing, and the beating of the heart. And you haven't got humanity, humanity has not gotten to the point where they can set their heart to the rhythm of the planet you're walking on. It hasn't accomplished yet. When the heart is set to the rhythm of the planet, there'll be no problem. The dignity of each species will be recognized, and you're walking in the presence of God at all times. Be known, and there will be no confusion, and the understanding of unity will really be understood. It's a perception of everything being at peace and pleasant. That's unity. Acknowledging that God is everywhere, everywhere, between each entity. And then each entity is safe in that aspect. In that field of beauty and wisdom. Because the bones have a chance to understand the ability to respond to prophecy. What prophecy really is, it's a command from the force that knows how to work things. It's the word that does it. Okay, back. I had to turn off the phone. Do not disturb sign I had to play. I didn't know how to do that.
You're the only being that can work computers by any chance.
They forced me to learn. Technology is useful, yet often it slows things down. We were at the place where we were talking about the word. And in your teachings, it says in the beginning was the word. That's what it says. And the word is connected with the word, that phrase of prophecy. The word is prophecy. So when the word is expressed as it was told how to be expressed in your books, the instructions are there, exactly how to do it, what to say, how to say it. But the readings and the misinterpretations of it, the confusion of it was presented instead of the fact that this is how it's done. These are as close as you have to the real information of how to do it. It's the only material you've got left because most of the other stuff has been destroyed. These books you have, the Quran, the Bible, the teachings of the Tibetans that have been written, they talk about the word, they talk about speaking carefully, they talk about things differently. The mind is well aware of the words. The group mind. And the mind has a problem with the distinction of itself, with the distinction of itself, because it's separated from the brain and the consciousness within the body. Is where the thoughts, the consciousness stream, thoughts flow, river flows through all minds. And they latch onto words. And then you spend time describing what that word meant. Boat. Was that a sailboat? Rowboat? What kind of boat? You spend so much time in the description of it. You have no idea, and you've let the feeling process of yourself be gone. It doesn't matter what kind of boat. You know the boat. It's your boat. It doesn't have to match anyone else's boat. Yet there are those who want to know what boat. It's not necessary. You take the word and feel it inside the self. Don't define it any more than you have to. The definition, as you require more definition, more precise definition, more precise definition. You're going backwards in time to come forward again to start. The flow of life has been forgotten. You're trying to trap it in time, in frames of this square, 9 to 5. Has to be this way. Words have to be this way in that range of 9 to 5. Out here, nature's flowing. It doesn't care about 9 to 5. It doesn't care about the words either. Eventually, humanity is going to move into the case of not needing all the words. There'll be more of a feeling force, understanding the requirement of another, understand the excesses you have, understanding the need for sharing, not the grabbing, or please, mine, me, give me. Equal opportunity for expression as one's move in what is so in this flow. It's a dance. It'll be a dance, actually, and without a worry. Yet there's a nuance there. Because with so much freedom and expression of your own divinity, there's sometimes a requirement for ones to need to worry. There's a doubt thing that comes in there. What if this ends? Thing. Those are the thoughts that you need to capture, put aside. Because it's your word that creates. The thoughts you entertain within the body and mess your own construct up and try to get it in the proper sequence so when you express it, someone might understand what you're saying. Yet in the truth, everyone has access to the same thought. It's how they process it that's different. What you process it, the thoughts, any thought, you process through your own experience that you've gone through as you grow and mature. You're becoming mature. You're supposed to be becoming mature spiritual beings. And the reflection of the not becoming more mature in your spiritual aspect is hitting the body. When you're at the point now where the realization is, it's not just the body, it's what I'm thinking. It's what I'm not letting go of. It's what I'm holding on. So you begin to let little go and the flow starts moving. Your joints start becoming a lot easier. Because the fluid movement is required for joints to move. You need to have mobility. And the joints, which are probably your most, I'm going to say this way. Your joints literally, you can be considered probably, with the exception of the soul and the heart, one of your most sacred units in the body. Because it allows flexibility of movement, along with the ligaments. It allows this vaporous form of yourself, the auric fields of you walking around, to merge into a structure, or at least you can feel something and see something that's not spatial. This is boring flying around out there. We can't be able to touch anything. You move through the trees, you go right through the tree, you can't touch the tree. You can see it. You can smell it, the flowers and things, you can't really touch them. You're in that spiritual force, your hands move through it. So the knowledge of the density is the appreciation of your ability to see your own reflection, actually. But people don't like that one. So you change your mirrors inside. What are you looking for? What are you expecting to see in ones? You should be expecting to see the little one in ones. Not that they are little ones, but the little one in everyone is there. It's an innocence. This is a little one when you were a child. Couldn't stand when the parents or anyone was fighting you. It frightened you. The same thing with the little one in you. The little ones, they are coming now. And the little one is responsive to the name and the number of your birth date. There's a tone there that the little one knows as a gift to itself from it. It being the being that doesn't need a name. It being the being that is everything requires not a name, requires not acknowledgement actually. It knows what thankfulness truly is. It doesn't look for it. It knows that that's what is the grace given. Is waiting in the manner for those that say thank you to the it, the non-existent it. Because when it feels that deep thankfulness toward itself, it sends more grace to you. It opens different chakras so you can see more. Because it understands, you begin to appreciate it. Not worshiping it. No, don't have to. It is not that it. It's not to worry about that worship. It's worried about nothing. It assists when it is recognized. Willingly, appreciatively, acknowledgeably, it acknowledges the one that recognized it, and it sends forth more so it can teach others. That's what it does. It's everywhere. It doesn't move, doesn't have to, can if it wants to. It knows all the names, responds to those names that are appropriate to use, responds and opens prayers, teaches you how to pray. What is termed the word prayer was mostly meant to mean focused in the self of your divinity. Remember it. You came out of nowhere and you're something. How did that happen? Way back. That information is stored in your solar plexus, heart chakra, when they both merge. And that fleshy little sternum thing you got in your chest there, that little fleshy part, is your ticker. That's going to have more activation now. it's actually going to be found out that you have a little entity in there that registers. Like what did you say, computer genius, yeah? But it's becoming more educated within itself because it's a more flexible bone. And it's able to communicate to the other more rigid structures in an appropriate manner. So there's a fluid force generated, which is your blood, which provides your ability to function as a movable object here, under the direction of the self within the object, which is you, as you think yourself. But there's something else that walks you, and walks with you, observes you, and assists you. You're walking through fields now of beings that are not incarnate, that wish to be, have not prayed, or is what you call searched in a manner diligently enough, and they're looking for vehicles now to get in for a minute to express some of their opinion, please, because they know they have probably not a chance for incarnation again. And that's the suffering, because you only can do it here, you can't do it anywhere else. Not what is being done here. Anyway. This is a classroom, literally, but divine force that can be educated here and have ability to go to another planetary system and instruct without causing destruction, confusion, competition, any of that nonsense. That's why you're facing it all here, all this repression, war and things. So when you get the training how to overcome this, you can go to other places and hold a frequency of peace. This is a ground school for spiritual forces, for training those warriors of the divine, we'll call it, that can manage peace, hold a space for peace, so others can at least have an attempt to ability to a little bit. Because the auras now of your organs are beginning to thicken. And when that happens, there are whole new things begins to occur. The personalities within the chakras begin to talking with inside yourself. And those are languages you probably won't want to hear, because there's going to be a lot of complaining that they haven't been treated correctly, and there'll be no one else to talk to about it. So now there's appreciation for this process. And if you start this thing in the body at the new moon, you find your mantra, your prayer, whatever you think is the most sacred thing to you, in the wording of it, in your being able to express it from the depth of yourself. You can start that at the new moon, the completion of it, and then contemplation and the return and the acceptance, manifestation occurs at the full. Only takes 2 weeks, somewhere like that. And after the full, after the reception of this, what you had petitioned for and these things, from the new to the full, you take the full to the new, and you offer thankfulness. And then you offer repentance. And you say your prayers again to get yourself clean for the new, so you can ask for acceptance and to receive again at the full. Your beings get to the full moon and they go and receive, and they're in the ecstasy, but they forget the other process to clean themselves again, to prepare for the new, to ask. There's no repentance is a word that beings don't even like to hear. Forgiveness they maybe understand. Repentance, that shuts doors. But it's an inward process that you're forgiving yourself for hurting the soul forces that are within the chakras. Because the soul force is trying to unite all this stuff, and the ego within the identity of the self is fighting it. The moon is your boss, literally, because it rules the water, and you're 70% water, unless you can say you're a dried fig. The moon rules the fluid forces. She reflects the light, yes. She's called the she for a reason, because she's nurturing as best she can, yet humanity is not paying attention. The light of the moon lets you wake up to the life of the light of the sun. It teaches you about it, the appreciation for it, and the secret nature of the moon, from new to full and full to new. Those are the teachings that were secret in what you would call the understanding of the Word. In the beginning was the Word. As humanity moves through this time now, there are many beings that are going to hear something, the Word. And you'll know that a being that is in the invisible said it. Sit. Receive, say nothing. The fact that that being even said that, W-O-R-D, the word, activated your authority for command from the self. If you really understood who was talking to you, they would tell you and show you, and you would recognize the appreciation for the Word. And the thankfulness would be recognized for it, both the Word and the being called it. What you're going to discover is you're very tricky beings. And you manage to trick yourself almost to extinction. Yet now the consciousness is beginning to wake up. You're beginning to appreciate the spiritual forces that are coming to help a little bit. You're beginning to apply a little bit. You're beginning to see the total ridiculousness of what's being spread around now. The confusion. When this begins to happen in any system of civilization, there will always be centers of pockets where the light will hold it, and it will not be looking to entertain anyone else. The light will just be holding it, and there'll be those that come to it for seeking assistance and help, because the light is what provides the health for the self to understand itself, its appreciation for itself, its appreciation for the fact that you have a bone, you have lungs. The word that you speak comes from somewhere inside you sometimes, and I heard this one and I can say that, and who's saying that? And all of these things, as the confusion of self begins to be understood, it's not confusion. You have a self, and it's beating your heart. That's where you go. And when you breathe, and your heart beats, and the new blood comes out, you've been reborn with each breath. As the pump of the left auricle pushes new blood out. Yet the presence that grips the bone to create the blood, you cannot see. But the bone feels it, and it appreciates it, because that comes from the prophecy of Ezekiel. And the bone remembers it. Because all bone talks to all bone. All rocks talk to all rocks. People talk to people. It's a vibration. Your tone. And that's the significance and the importance of your vibratory frequency of your name and your birth number. When you find out how holy that is, individuals are going to start respecting themselves a lot more. In what we would term the appreciation for the secretness of yourself. Because you all have the secret self now. And it will only show itself and share itself with those that understand the secret self of others. We are through. Wait. Do you have something you'd like to say or address?
I would like to request that after we get all this transcribed and corrected, that we have the chance maybe to ask questions on certain things. But
that will be more appropriate because now there's this first issue. And it brings up a lot of questions within.
But you may answer them later.
There will be required to be answered because they're appropriate questions. Mm-hmm. They're actually being pushed toward you so you can ask it, you and others, so the spiritual forces that want to respond and they already know what the question is to it can come to you. And you feel them. This is how they educate. It will be the spiritual, you'll feel it. Feeling is the next level of cognition, of wisdom, knowledge. Not the touch, pet feeling, the feeling of the information and the spread of it as it enters the physical system. Yeah.
Okay. That would be great.
And let me work the body here just a moment for another frequency. You're familiar with the phrase, circle the wagons?
Yeah.
That's what's going on now.
In what way?
In the consciousness of your planet. Those that will feel that like-minded forces will be in like-minded places.
Ah. So people are going to start moving.
Well, yes. The planet is going to start moving, and yeah. And that's where the shift has already started, and consciousness is going to occur. You're seeing a unity now in consciousness in one level in your planet, and that's the search for this missing airplane. You have other countries literally working together, cooperatively for the first time, literally looking for something that will solve an issue of mystery within the human condition. Because they thought they have everything figured out now and they can't find this thing.
Where is it?
There's a side story with all of that one. The point is the unification of looking for this thing.
You're going to keep it a secret.
It's going to come out. It might not be pleasant, yes. But that's not the issue right now. The issue is to see the unification of willing to work together. And once that is started at one level, it will be easily accomplished at other levels. It's just smoothing the process now.
Wonderful.
And we can do this. There are those that gave up on humanity, but there are others that haven't. And humanity literally hasn't given up on itself. So until that happens, you're always going to have guardianship and protection.
But the planet, what we're doing to the planet, this fracking, this...
Well, I mean...
How can we get it together enough to save the planet?
You're not going to have to get it together. It's already past that point. To save the planet is not going to be destroyed. Your concept of what the planet should be might be destroyed. The planet's going to fix this thing. The way you think it should be might not be the way it's going to end up. Because you haven't treated it correctly. She's opening the back door and ready to sweep everything out of the kitchen right now.
That's us?
That's us. The only thing that's stopping that little process is the prayers for ones that are praying, literally, knowing how to pray, what to pray, when to pray, know what the new moon's for, know what the full moon's for. Full moon for is thankfulness, and then as you go there, get ready for the new, you better start repenting and ask for forgiveness so you can be ready to even petition to pray correctly for anything and more. But no. It's always, new moon, give me, pray for more, pray for more, pray for more, pray for more. Never thankfulness, repent for what I've done until I can accept more, to receive more grace. No. The learning process is going to occur. Your sun's going to start acting very differently in your skies, and that's going to have an effect, literally. You've already seen processes of that in what you turn to Medjugorje where the sun danced. Mm-hmm. Those are stories there. Well, if the sun dances and everyone sees it all over the planet, what do you think is going to occur? You're going to have every guru come up and say, and they said this, and this is that, this is that. You sit. If that sun is dancing, it knows everything, everywhere, everywhen, everything. Because someone else is dancing it. That level of expansion of consciousness and recognizing the holiness of this place is going to create a great shock. You're seeing the effects of the divine now. You have dogs in countries rescuing babies from trash heaps. It's making the news. It's showing you the fact. The animals know more than we do. And they say, being humans act like animals. The animals have a small respect for human babies. It's shown right there. Everyone says how cute it is. It's not cute. Why did the dog have to do that? But those questions aren't asked. We'll see the result, and then it's the next day. But obviously the spiritual force did not want that baby dead. And it assigned a guardian, and it picked it out of the trash and took it to a human that took care of it. And that dog stays with that baby. How does that condition work? What politician set that one up? So you're going to start paying more attention to the spiritual forces than the political forces. And your life is going to become a lot more smoother, a lot more pleasant, a lot more fun, and the ecstasies will be beyond what you can even imagine now. I have no idea. Because it's the knowledge of the self, yourself, succeeding in this thing. When everyone said you couldn't do it. But you've made it this far. Don't stop. This is just the beginning.
Well, with champions like you, it's gonna...
I'm not the champion.
What would you spell with guardians, with
Guardians,
protectors?
yeah. I do enjoy the battle. Let's put it that way. Because at that time, everyone's supposed to know something. It's not really a battle. It's the fear thing.
Spirit, if you look at it, in my lifetime, we came, no one was trained for this. How are we expected to know?
Well,
We're not trained at home, we're not trained in school. Nobody knew any of this. Or if they did, they were keeping it so secret that it was totally unavailable to the mass people. I mean, just overnight, we're expected to quit thinking, start feeling, start praying, start changing, when it's such a total reversion of...
Would it be easy? You're going to find out the thought is the prayer. And the thought, all you need to say, thank you. That's it. That's the one prayer you need.
Thank you.
Because you know who you're thanking. Or you should. It's that simple. Everything else became confusion. You say thank you, you know, or you should, who you're thanking. It's the self and the other self. All the time. No one else. Another human may do something, you say thank you for it, but there's a thank you behind that thank you.
To the being behind the human.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
So this is knowledge thing. And a lot of beings want to hear you say thank you, thank you, thank you. You know, there's that thing. But it's the nuance of yourself. Beings now are moving more into a respectful manner for their own vehicle. Not so they, oh, look so pretty and all this other. No, they're beginning to... I have some bones here, and I'm thinking, and this hurts. We'll fix this, because you don't have another vehicle. Most don't know how they got this one in the first place. Most don't think they exist somewhere else in the other place, someplace else in another when, or how they got here in the first time. But it was so confusing down here that the reason the consciousness is shifting now is because those of you that came in and born yourself, and were born through your mother, to be available this time, were fed up out there with the ignorance down here, and came to push and bring something in that at least starts something. That's what's this going on. And now it started, and now we're going to hold it.
All right.
Okay. There are spiritual forces that do not want to lose this place. And they're here to help. And they only answer petitions that are done correctly. Within the thankfulness, they know the needs. You don't have to tell them what they need. They know. They want to see you, if you know which avenue, to fix that. How do I get this one done? So it's an inner process where you connect with your outer process. The one that guided you and sent you and said, set up all these contracts, all of this stuff. It's that greater self of you that the uniting needs to take place. And it's going to happen. It's going to start in the feeling, everyone's feeling this in their bodies with this solar plexus energy that's coming. It's creating the gas, it's creating the burps, it's moving stuff that doesn't belong. In the earlier phases, we would manifest just to see if we could manifest and get something done. We're forcing. Now we're moving back into the manifestation process is occurring so fast, I've got to slow this down. Because there's almost so much I can participate in. So another part of you starts seeing the manifestation process and not worrying about it. It's already taken care of.
I do have a question. What about walk-ins and the original horoscope on the back of the original being?
Yeah, well, that's the contracts that is, as you say, you buy a house, and then you sell the house to someone else. Yeah. They have to take up the mortgage.
It's okay. It doesn't change.
Yeah. They're working with the same frequency within the structure. I just said it would take the mortgage, however.
I get it. Okay.
For its ability to have opportunity in time and space. Right? That's why it would take the mortgage. Instead of having to wait for another reincarnational cycle, because those things come up in cycles. The reincarnation aspect things.
Okay, I guess I better learn astrology.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Now, I don't know how long this thing has been. So we're trying to get it so that it's not too long for your magazine, otherwise, or this is the book thing.
This is the book, yeah.
It's in the book thing, okay.
Yeah. It's not quite an hour yet.
Okay.
We're good.
Yeah. So, as we get into this, title of the book and the meaning within the book is the comprehension, and comprehension means feeling and understanding. The comprehension of the Holy Spirit within mankind, within the human condition, you can say. And
that's better.
Yeah.
That's better.
And I'm saying,
how long do you want it to go? It's very dense. I mean, in the
it is
sense that-
dense. We're going to have some expansion within the density of this thing.
But I didn't mean that as a criticism. I meant it's dense with incredible amounts of information. And
what I see is that I think the process will be, as it begins to be read, there'll be a necessity to stop at a point and expand that within. Because there's a lot of energy within certain places that I placed phrases that are going to pop. And within that, there needs to be an expression. It needs to be a safety place for beings to go without directing them to one particular religion or another. Religion is important. I didn't mean to say it wasn't, because there are words in there that give you clues to the nature of your divinity in an aspect that has not been taught, really. Most of the churches have kept it hidden for the control reasons. And that is going to go away. Move.
great.
And this one of the things that has not really been talked about too much is the worth of the self. Everyone has self-worth. Everyone does. Wouldn't be here if you didn't. Yet that recognition of it has been shut off. Everyone's telling everyone else they're not worthy. Well, in a sense, you're not. Never get worthy enough. But there is a worth there because you're learning. You're here. You have a body. That's not an accident. Nothing in the cosmos happens accidentally. This is a profound nature of your own inner being that's being recognized. You're no longer just working on the monkey mind and monkey consciousness. You have risen above that, but you're aware of it. You're aware of the influence of it. Now the natural aspect of yourself will have the ability to communicate with the birds, the animals, hear their language, not just the caw, caw, caw of the crow, but hear the language they're speaking. It's a feeling language. You will not hear it with your ears. You will hear it from within inside your chest. There'll be a voice speak there. The rib cage is a big sounding box. If you let that energy come into the here, you will hear in here. Chest, a being speaking from the natural force of self, their selves. Dogs bark, but within the prior to the bark, there's a force there. Not just a hearing thing, but it's a force that's forcing the bark. And you can tune into that if you train yourself. With any animal, nature thinks. Nature is thinking ahead of mankind. Because it's in a survival mode now. You have bears going into your cities, towns. You've got a process going on here. And it's the acknowledgement of yourself is here. Do not be foolish in these times. Slow down and center. Be thankful that you were allowed to have that thought, whatever it was. And if you're not thankful for having that thought, check where it came from and send it back. You do not need to entertain it. The thing to be entertaining without fear is the health of yourself. Health, the body, mind, and spirit. Health, the body, mind, and spirit. Health, the body, mind, and spirit. And when you do that, it creates a vibration within the physical structure. So the bones are thinking, health, the body, mind, and spirit. When the blood's formed, health, the body, mind, and spirit. The blood is formed, it's thinking health, the body, mind, and spirit. And it gets pumped out, health, the body, mind, and spirit. That's the consciousness within the self that's generated. Your bones are your tuning forks. And you need to really understand them, that they're the ones that hold electrical energy. And the spiritual force is electrical energy. It's a force, a light that does not bend. It is electrical, like a lightning bolt. And the bones are the only construct in your system, as a physical human being, that can handle a portion of that electrical current. The flesh cannot. It will burn. Your hair will burn. Your skin, your muscles will burn. The bone is what handles that energy and distributes it evenly through the body. And the heart chakra has to take its place and we'll move backward in the self when this thing hits. Because the heart has a way of curling when this electrical force curls. If the heart knows what this little battery can take impulse. It has a 9-volt thing, you say. But I'm not saying it's 9 volt. It has a status number on it. And it has that registry, and that's what it handles.
So it has to back up then when more comes in.
Yes, and it trains itself to handle more, and the heart has an ability, once it starts working, there's an entity there. And if you really would work with yourself, you talk to your heart, so as it pushes the blood, and then you talk to the bone, so the bone and heart work together, and then you've got it. You've got your transmission system, and everybody else within the body is going to figure it out because they can't do it without the blood. You know what I mean? There's personalities in you. You got a bone personality, you got a heart personality, you got a liver personality, spleen personality. Also, all of these organs are really, in a manner, designed to handle sin. S-I-N, sin, your sins. But that's a word people don't like to hear. The organs are taking the hint for the sinful behavior, what you call in the condition of divine. But that is not. That's why now it's important to clear the aura of the organs. Forgive yourself. Forgive yourself. That's what mercy is for. That's what space is for. That's what time is for. Get over it. This is the full moon coming to the new. Forgive. Okay, clear. Get ready for the new. Start that process and you will find yourself in a whole new system of belief and knowledge and the wisdom of peace. And then you'll really be able to talk to the sun because you know what the reflection means. And she comes. How it bounces from one to the other. Yeah. And the feedings from your planets. Spiritual forces that come through that meet to join there. Daily. Minute by minute. Because you're bending that light. You're bending those spiritual forces within you. You just need to work with them now. You don't become confused of how many there are. There are plenty enough. Focus on Jupiter first. Jupiter is the guiding star in your astrological chart. The moon is the controller, but Jupiter is the one that gets you in. And particularly pay attention what house that's in, because that's the one that protects you there. The influence is in that particular house. House of relationship, house of business, house of this and that. So, these are the expressions that are going to begin to be acknowledged. It's the nervousness that comes up because it's a self-judgment that's always recognized as you start moving more to holy, 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 more divine, more divine. It's the self that gets ready to start putting on cleaner clothes. You start shining yourself a little bit more, making sure your ties and your bow ties for the men, and the women, their skirts and their little dresses are very palm. And as you're sitting in your low classroom, you're getting there. But just be acknowledged with it. It's not going to be so... It's regimented in a way, but you're willing to do it because you're moving through a portal. And you don't want to drag any baggage with you, actually. The thing's going to open up.
A portal to?
Your next when. Yeah. It's a portal is just a portal as long as there's confusion within the extension of it. As long as you get into the confusion, you don't need the wormhole. It just flips over. Yeah. It's a doubt. The black hole thing is your doubt thing. If you haven't met the force that'll kill you yet and knows it's going to kill you and can bring you back, that's what that is. So.
That's what a black hole is?
Mm-hmm.
Huh. You also said it was
it collapses light.
You said it was a filter to keep things from getting
yes.
into other universes.
Yes.
Also.
Yes. It's the terror of the universe, actually. Because light collapses there, bends. But then that's what gravity is. That's what causes a sidereal condition in your astrological chart. The bend of the light, of your light as you come through.
We should get an astrologer to talk to you?
What was that?
Should we get an astrologer to talk to you? Because I don't know enough about astrology to ask questions.
I think I've given enough information there that those that are understanding astrology will understand the purpose of the houses and the notification of what the planet means in the houses. And then when they tie in the spiritual force of that planet with the intelligence of that planet in that house, you'll have a greater understanding of what's occurring.
Okay.
Who's influencing you?
So the ones that read this will get it. Okay.
Yeah. There's the intelligence of the planet is the most important part because that's what controls the spiritual force of the planet. It's just like you're the intelligence of your being, you're supposed to control the spiritual force of yourself. You're supposed to know how to do it, but right now you're getting inculcated that you in fact have a spiritual force in the true sense that it is always there.
I thought it was the other way around.
Yeah, most people did.
Oh, how interesting.
The spiritual force graduates itself and becomes the intelligence. It knows what not to do as it's allowed. That's what this whole process of redemption with the demons that fell is about. They know they fell. They know they did it. They're waiting for to get back sometimes because they know what they missed.
But they will get back. Okay.
That's what we're doing now.
All right.
We're meeting them, and they're willing to admit, sorry, and they proceed because they have powers, but the powers have been limited because of their things. There is a divine force that watches over this place, a rather large one, matter of fact. Most people don't want to be involved with it, but really that's where the fun is.
We're going to get you to talk more about some of your battles and your fun.
One of my things is a little bit push energy out there. Push a concept out there and let it work. The stories, because when in your world people see and you watch a movie, they see, they reflect, they understand, and they're influenced and they have the feelings and things. A lot of our information that we're putting through now for world consciousness is coming through in some of your movies and some of your fantasy. Mm-hmm. Yet others have taken over the fantasy and made it black.
Violent.
But yes, so if you see that and not,
Mm.
you don't go there. You see what's influencing you. You do not decide to be influenced by that. You've gained the wisdom. They're taking things and twisting it so you'll be, which is the opposite of what is truly being said. They're creating a fear consciousness and get like it. Once you see that, there's no necessary for it. You don't choose to be entertained by it.
So you work through creative people, you send energies, you send thoughts, you send feelings.
I don't send, no, it's not a sending. I don't have to send.
You radiate.
I vibrate.
Vibrate? Okay. Whether they're spiritual or not. You
For those willing to pick it up.
to be inspired.
I just vibrate it. And if someone has an inclination, they feel it, then I know what I vibrated. And if they go with it, I know where they're going. Because I sent peace, protection, and joy where that journey went. So as they hit and they feel, they express it. I don't have to say anything. But I know that they're doing it, and I know why they're doing it, and I know the path they're doing it on because I set the vibration for that path, and they're walking it. They chose to walk it, but I know where it's going. Peace, protection, and joy. And once you're working in peace, protection, and joy, you can understand your own journey and help others. Because that's really what you're here for. Once you figure yourself out.
Peace, protection, and joy.
Mm-hmm.
Do you channel through any other humans?
No.
Have you always channeled through Arthur, even when it was called Jehovah?
I have been with this force that is in this body, that's termed Arthur, for a very long time. Ever since I saw his courage, before, it was a, let me see, a love of one that was curious, not afraid, but had a faith, and it was given something, but doesn't know what. So that sort of expression,
Yes.
An innocent one that wanted to learn. And those that are willing to learn, we're willing to teach. That's the way that is. And as we come in the body, we change him and fix him and do this, that, and yell at him a bit. But he's willing to continue, and we are. So it's hard to find ones that are open enough to receive some of this, because the body can be stressed. The muscles have to take a different they have to reroute energy that they're not used to rerouting through the body. Excess electrical energy has to be pushed out through the muscular system. And
that's true.
Sometimes it can cause cramps within the muscle structure, and he's been trained how to handle these things within the sinew thing.
Good. Good. Well, whatever you put out, I will get out. So.
Well, we are through. The main purpose now is what we're working on in the focus as we do this now, daily, the past while. Is we're pushing energy into you beings to heal your bones, so when you get your abilities again to communicate with your bones, and that means communicate. That means you listen to what the bone has to say. You feel it. And then the bone, you talk, so you're going to have to listen to the bone, and it's going to have, it will feel like the bone wants to sit in a particular position. So you would just sit the bone in that position and let the flesh move with it and get in that position. And you'll find out that you're not the flesh as you think you are. And the flesh starts changing to meet with the harmony and synchronization of the bone. Weight starts dissipating. Weight starts dissipating because you're in your original tone now, or moving back to it.
Yeah, I am. I've lost 25 pounds.
You're reclaiming yourself.
Yeah.
And the divine is working with you, and the acknowledgement of it is coming in a more profound way. So as you start moving into what we call these youth packets. You what actually your age, and then as you move through the synchronization of your bone, you get another packet. It takes you back in time in a manner, and you've reduced your age 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. So that youth packet in the body helps you lose more. And it becomes sequential, and you realize yourself is doing this, not someone else, not a magic diet. You just realized your thoughts are doing that. And you have an amazing experience with self, not someone else.
Yes.
It's the experience with the self and acknowledgement of how you did it with the simplicity of self. That's the joy of this thing.
And see, until this year, I never knew I had bones. They just carried my brain around.
I don't. That's generally the situation.
Yeah. But now I've become much more aware. They've sort of demanded my attention.
Yeah.
Because they heard if I
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So particularly with you need peanut oil around your wrists.
Oh, I put my legs.
Yeah, and your ankles
Uh-huh.
and your knees.
Okay.
These are 3 points. 1, 2, 3. And if you look at it, that has to do with the triplicity moving up the body. Both sides of the body.
Knees.
So sometimes this comes in one side, sometimes that's the symbolism of Siva and black and white and things.
Okay.
Yeah. So
But
both
I'm doing
sides.
the other things that you told
Yes.
Arthur to do. So.
Yes. Yes.
And they help. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.